Hey, how you guys doing tonight? It's Patrick here at Last Line Out. I went fishing Saturday out at the Big Bend Power Plant over in Tampa. Where I parked at was at Apollo Beach, so I could actually fish right down on the water. Well, that's, I don't know, maybe 300 yards from where I parked down to where you actually can put in the water, which isn't such a big deal, especially if you have a trolley system or something, which I have. I've used this trolley system about 4 or 5 times since I've had my kayak, and normally I try to park somewhere where I can just unload right there and drag it across maybe 50 feet in the grass or something. But this time that was the longest walk I've had to do with my kayak, and man, this thing is a piece of junk. So I'm doing this video. I just wanted to kind of as a safeguard. I'm so aggravated about it. My back's sore from carrying my kayak. Basically, I not only did I have to drag my kayak through the sand, but I basically had to drag this piece of equipment that I paid $60 for. So I'm going to show you what it is. If you own or are thinking about buying one of these, I'm going to do another video where I tear this piece of crap apart and use it for parts to make the way I should have did it when I was first getting my kayak. I was going to buy the parts and make one from Home Depot for about the same amount of money, and I was like, man, I'll just buy it, it'll work. It doesn't work. The guys have been doing this a lot longer than me, know better apparently, because they're not using this piece of junk. So I'll show you what the product is, kind of break it down why it doesn't work for me, especially for my kayak. I have an Ascend FS12T. It is a heavy kayak, and I carry a lot of stuff with me. I do that just in case I decide when I'm out I want to stay out, maybe find an island or something to camp out overnight or whatever. That's what I like to do. So I carry enough stuff with me where I'm okay if I need to stay overnight or whatever. But if I got a portage at all at any point with this thing, it's not going to work. It's really sturdy, but that's about the extent of it. So I'm going to show you what it is, break it down for you, show where it's failed me, show you how it's caused me more problems than it's been worth. So you guys let me know what you think. Alright, so this is basically what this product is. I can't remember the name of it, but I mean, you'll see them all over the place. There's a lot of different models of it. First thing, I think the second time I used this, the strap broke. Both of them have broken. I mean, they're dry rotted. I rinse this off every time I bring it in, clean it off with really good water, let it dry in the sun so it dries quickly. All the bolts have rusted on it. Basically what it does is your kayak, this would be, the front of the kayak's going that way, and it sits on here in the middle, and this is supposed to brace where your kayak is. Well, the problem I have is when my kayak's weighted down, literally it shouldn't come down and touch the tire, but it does. If you can see the tires, you can see the rub marks on here, especially kind of on the outside. They're actually chopping. That's not from being used so much on the road or in the sand. That's from literally rubbing on the bottom of my kayak and almost putting a hole in it. I'm gonna literally have to fill it in. The one thing I will say is these little clips that they have on here, those little quick clips, man, them little gator clips in there, they work. That's about the only thing. It rubs like horrible. It doesn't sit on the kayak back. I try to line it up right here, which is the bracing portion. My box is in there. I try to weight everything down for the back so that it gives me enough room to pick up the front and carry it. Where I'd like it to be is about right here. That way when I carry the kayak, it's almost balanced. There's no way it'll rub a hole. The tires are touching on both sides of that thing. And there's just, I've moved it back and forth. If I put it too far back, the straps aren't strong enough to hold. It slides off and my kayak falls, everything dumps out. I don't know if I'm putting too much weight on it or what the deal is, but what I do know is that I'm taking this thing apart. These tires have these little quick clamps on here, right here, which I really like that. I mean, they're quick. Right here, I'm taking these off, and I'm going to go get a piece of PVC pipe, and I'm going to make one out of PVC that I can use. I might use this little thing right here just because I like the shape of it, but I'm not sure yet. But we'll see about that. But the tires are good. I mean, they hold up. The thing about it, they'll float. I dropped this thing in the water one time, and it did stay up and floated, which was nice. But overall, that thing's a piece of junk. So I'm gonna make it where I can have them come up through my scudder holes and stand up off the ground about 2 feet, maybe more than that, so I can just loop carry it right there, no problems. Because I tell you what, man, pulling that thing the other day, it killed me. And I'll show you the bottom of my kayak. You can see right here where I went. I didn't realize that the tide was going to go out as bad as it did. So I went through, it must have been, I don't know, 300-400 yards that I had to drag my kayak through an oyster bed, which was just terrible. I was like, man, I'm going to poke a hole in my kayak. Luckily for me, I know how to plastic weld, so that's not such a big deal. So I'm going to do another video here in probably the next couple of days. I'll do a video. I'm going to tear this thing apart and use the tires, or might use more of it, I'm not sure yet, to make it where I can put them in the scudder hole. And I'll definitely make a video of that. But I will say this, if you see this thing online for any price, I don't care if it's free. Well, free, I'd take it, because I'll use it to make something else. But don't buy this. Don't waste your money. If you got a small 10-foot kayak or something, you don't put a lot of gear in, I'm sure it would work fine. But if you're like me and you're running a big, ocean kayak where you go out and you put a lot of gear and a lot of fish in it, don't buy that thing right there. But I appreciate you guys watching the video, and I'll make another one for you. This is Patrick from Last Line Out. If you got any comments, let me know. If you think I'm doing something wrong with this, definitely let me know. I mean, I've tried it a bunch of different ways. I'm a pretty sharp guy about figuring stuff out, but this thing's a piece of junk. So, you guys have a good night. God bless.